So what a great question. How does grading and high school diplomas work in the homeschool space? And this is a question that a lot of people have because there's this myth out there that homeschoolers don't actually have to work for their grades and that a parent can just give them an A and then they get their high school diploma and then they're not prepared for anything, yada, yada, yada. So I think the average homeschool parent doesn't actually grade their child. They follow a mastery method, meaning they have a set of skills and concepts they want to teach each grade, and when a child masters one concept, they move on to the next concept as they move up the grade levels. Most homeschoolers buy a curriculum. That curriculum is generally divided into levels that would basically follow grade levels as if they were in school. But that's the beautiful thing about homeschooling. If your child is sprinting ahead in math, you can get higher and higher level math curriculums. But if they're a little bit slower in language arts, you can let them take their time. Nobody has to be pushed forward or held back. Now, once you get to high school, things change a little bit depending on what your child's plans are, what their goals are, if they want to go to college, if they want to go into the trades, if they want to start working immediately. Those grades may become really important. If you're trying to get a high school diploma for your child, you have to meet certain requirements as the homeschool parent, or rather their curriculum has to meet certain requirements. And that varies by state and sometimes school district. So you just have to go to your school district, usually a website, and find out what their graduation requirements are, and then you have to meet those requirements. It's not as simple as just saying, oh, my child took Biology 101, got an A, check, we're done. Your child has to meet certain credits that have to be approved, which means you need to have an actual either pre-made curriculum or a curriculum you've made yourself that aligns with the graduation requirements for whatever subjects that the kids in public school would be taught. Now, if your child doesn't need a diploma, they could take the GED. And in that case, they're just taking a test that says, yes, they have the same level of general skills as a child who graduated high school. And so you just prepare your child for that. There's lots of GED study guides that you can get. And then some kids don't worry about that, but they do want to get into college, so they have to be prepared for their SATs or ACTs. Colleges don't just generally accept a transcript that just gives these grades. They want to see what the actual curriculum was, the scope and sequence. They count up credits by how many hours you spend studying that subject. So it's very similar to getting a high school transcript from the public school. And of course, some homeschoolers just take standardized tests every year as a way to help them gauge where their child is academically compared to their public school peers. So there are a lot of ways that you can gauge your homeschooler's progress and where they are academically. It just depends on what state you're in, what your state requires, how you prefer to structure things, and your child and their goals.